have introduced you. Tell us about you and your character.
My name is Crystal Diamond. I am co-owner of Characterz Cafe. My character is Apchurch. He is an amazing Ewok. I have an echo.
Where's that come from? It's on my computer.
It's here.
It's not.
This is what we call troubleshooting. It's a thing.
My computer's muted.
Is
Is
your
it my
phone?
phone?
Yeah. Might be your phone. It's okay.
Sounds like
We're live, right? It's a thing.
Yes, we are live.
I know, but I think when I plug it in, it's gonna.
So, Crystal, go ahead and tell us about your character.
My character is Apchurch. He is a feisty freaking Ewok with a bad attitude and the scars to prove it. Doesn't take crap from anybody. He might be small and limited in speech, but he makes up for it in his ways.
So tell us about your Star Wars knowledge and role-playing experience.
I play, I roll, I do. I am a master at RPG.
What's your number?
Or, no wait, I'm a jack of all RPGs, master of some. I am Legends of the Galaxy GM, so I kind of know this game a little. And I love Star Wars.
Perfect. We're going to go ahead and switch over now to Lauren. Hey, Lauren. Tell us a little bit about you, your character, and, how big are you into role-playing?
So I'll start with my character. My character's name is Seth.
And it looks like your camera is frozen, Lauren.
It should be. Unless Morgan touched it.
I didn't touch shit.
You touch it? Well, can you touch it now and fix it?
It just says thanks for joining Zoom, but it's been saying that.
Yeah. And Lauren's is completely frozen. So let's actually skip Lauren for now, and we'll jump over to Tabitha real quick.
Hello. I'm Tabitha. I have lots of role-playing experience, mostly live on a table, not in the internet world. Mostly D&D and like Five Rings and some other like custom RPGs, and I enjoy Star Wars. I think I've seen all the movies, but in truth, I'm a Star Trek fan. I have like 3 Star Trek tattoos, so that's where I come from. But it'll be fun. I'm super excited. And my character is badass. So.
All right, Lauren, you are back up, so we're going to switch back over to you.
Okay. This is just me making sure I'm still not frozen. So my character is Seth. She is an Arcanian, and she's a super badass marauder hired gun, and she has a scar across her left eye, and she just doesn't take anybody's bullshit, and she works with her own code, and so if you hire her to do something and she doesn't agree with it, she's just kind of gonna just say,
Oh yeah,
screw
header's
you.
wrong. It's saying.
I have only played a little bit of D&D, but I've watched like a lot of it, and so my physical role-playing knowledge is a little bit small, but I love Star Wars. I've watched all the movies. I grew up watching them over and over and over again, and I've played a lot of the side games. I haven't watched the shows other than Mandalorian, but I love it. I love it very, very much.
And I do want to apologize to you, Lauren and Tabitha. It looks like I actually, when I built your cards, I swapped your character art and stat blocks. My bad. We'll get that fixed for next week.
Okay.
Edward.
Hi there.
So we're going to have you now go ahead and tell us about your character.
My character is. I'm told that choosing this particular type makes me a basic bitch. But yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Tick. We're actually going to flee and tick prevention. He's a Jedi Master. His name is Throckmorton. I think he's Scottish suddenly. I don't know why. Throckmorton! He's probably Scottish. And he was stranded in the midst of the Clone War, what have you. Crash landed somewhere. He's been hiding in plain sight ever since.
All good.
Generally awesome, but has a somewhat sarcastic sense of humor that can get him into trouble occasionally. 6'4" and a fucking awesome beard. Here's some artwork, black and white, because I don't own the color for different. There you go. Well, I don't know why. Now
Life
he's
of an actor.
Sean Connery, but it's maybe it won't be Connery. I always go dirty. You know what I mean?
Cool. And then we'll go and have Morgan then introduce his character. Morgan, you are on.
Hello there. My name is Littlewood. Well, Morgan. My name is Morgan Finley King. I only have one Star Trek tattoo, but I'm still a Trekkie all the way. Seen every Star Wars film and every Star Wars production, but I plan to catch up to or surpass Tabitha in the amount of Star Trek tattoos. We'll see. It'll take some time to get there, but I plan. You know, it's gonna happen. So I'm Littlewood tonight.
Only tonight.
I'm a Pergasian purple-eyed purple eater Wookiee hybrid.
Looking at me like I know.
And I'm an exterminator. It's my craft by day.
How about by night?
By night, I return to the homes in which I've serviced, and I assess any humans eatable.
Service?
And then I'm Nicholas. I'm actually, I created Legends of the Galaxy as a worldwide community organized play as a great way for people to actually come together and have some fun role-playing with Star Wars. So today we're actually going to do a little bit of Learn to Play here at the start of the game. And with Learn to Play, we're actually going to cover, as you can see over in the little window right to my right here, you can actually see we have different dice symbols that represent the different types of dice you're going to be rolling. The first is a D8 dice. It's the color green. That is actually your natural ability dice. With that, that's what your characteristic of your character is. So their basic agility, or their basic brawn, intellect, you know, so on and so forth. That is represented by the actual ability dice. We then have right below that the D12. It's a yellow dice, and that's known as the proficiency dice. A proficiency dice means that you have some type of proficiency or training in a particular skill that you'll be rolling. Right below that, there's a blue D6, which is the boost dice. Boost dice is going to be any type you have some kind of an advantageous like situation. That's when you'll be rolling one of those dice. An example would be if you are stealthing with the cover of darkness. It's a lot easier to stealth in the cover of darkness, so you gain boost dice. Over on the right column, we actually have the purple D8 dice. That is our difficulty dice. Now, there are several different difficulty levels when we are looking at these dice. The first is going to be simple, where we don't roll any difficulty. We just roll our positive ability dice and proficiency dice, and we actually get a result if we succeed. Easy would represent a single difficulty dice. Average represents 2 difficulty dice. Hard is going to be 3 difficulty dice. Daunting is 4 difficulty dice. And then formidable is 5 difficulty dice. Now, there is what's called the impossible check, which will require a formidable 5 difficulty dice roll. In addition to that, you have to flip one of our destiny tokens in order to go ahead and roll that. Now, whenever things are a little bit more than just difficult, but actually challenging, that's where you roll the D12 red challenge dice. An example of why you would upgrade to a challenge dice is, let's face it, in Star Wars, they never had OSHA, and all those catwalks have no railing. So you would go ahead and roll a challenge dice, replacing one of your difficulty dice with it for a more challenging situation. The black D6 dice is going to be our setback dice. Setback would be any type of a disadvantage style situation. Like, for example, you are walking into the Mos Eisley Cantina and Pondo Baba grabs you, grunting and groaning at you. Well, Dr. Evison says, he doesn't like you, and I don't like you either. Because they don't like you, it's more of a challenge to deal with them, so we go ahead and add setback dice in that encounter. And then at the very bottom is our white D12 representing our force dice. So the force dice is, of course, going to be representative of using the light side and the dark side of the force.
That's the
White one.
So let me come in here and bear with me here.
black.
The flash is setback dice.
And then one I missed was first green. That was the what was it? Green dice.
I know I might have one that went.
All right, so next up, we're going to actually talk about the symbols that are actually on the dice. So when you see a starburst rolled, that represents a success. And whenever you see the triangle symbol on one of the negative dice, that would represent a failure. Now, success dice and failure dice do go ahead and cancel each other out. You have to have one net starburst in order to succeed on your skill check. But Star Wars is more of a narrative system. It actually goes beyond just success or failure. And that's where we get into our advantage symbol, more similar to what you would expect with the Jedi Order symbol. And of course the threat symbol, which is a little bit more similar to what you would expect for like an Imperial or a Trade Federation style symbol. Those symbols also cancel each other out, and you can either have advantage or threat. And this is a very yes and system. So I succeeded and I gained the benefit with advantage. Or maybe I succeeded, but I have a negative with the threat dice. And the more you actually have advantage and the more threat, the more thrilling you can actually tell, or more harrowing you can tell the story. A great example of this is going to be is when you are actually firing your blaster as a guy is running away, trying to get out and escape through a doorway. You roll your dice. You succeed with a net success, which means you hit your target. However, you rolled threat, which means when you hit him, he stumbled out the door just as it closed, allowing him to go ahead and escape. In that same scenario, as he is running away, you can miss him. And you can have advantage, which means that blaster bolt goes over his shoulder and goes ahead and hits the door control, closing the door before he manages to escape, allowing you to have trapped him so you can continue the combat.
Sorry.
Another example would be if you succeeded with a success and have multiple threat, you might have shot the guy in the alley, but that stormtrooper patrol just happened to see you shoot a guy in the alley, and they're definitely coming to investigate. Finally, we have the triumph symbol, which does count as a success, but it is a critical success, which means amazing things happen as a result of that success. And then, of course, we have the despair, which counts as a failure, but horrible things happen when you do roll the despair. For example, when you roll despair, perhaps you just ran out of ammo. When you roll a triumph on a dice roll, maybe if you had failed your shot, you might still have such an amazing result. It would have been just like you did succeed with that skill check. Now, both the players and the game masters are both going to be storytellers in this game, and we're going to use these dice as a way to tell a narrative story. So is everyone ready to have some fun?
You're as fuck on.
All right, guys, we're back, and hopefully the camera issue has been resolved. So let's see here. If someone in the stream chat wants to go ahead and give us a thumbs up to let us know that the stream is working. The camera issue has been resolved. So let's see here. If someone in the stream chat wants to go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Yep, so it sounds like the stream is back working with audio.
Yes, it is. Huzzah!
Huzzah! Exactly. All right, guys. So we're on the planet of Lamared. Lamared is located out in the Outer Rim territories, and it's located near like Hutt Space, Tatooine, Ryloth, for those familiar with the Star Wars galaxy. And this planet is very much a water world. 85% of the planet is covered in water. There's a series of different islands and a few small continents that do exist on this planet. And on the planet of Lamared is a location called Barton's Landing. Barton's Landing is a droid control ship, as seen in Star Wars The Phantom Menace. It has a central ball, and the actual ship wraps around with large cargo bays. This vessel crash-landed during the Clone Wars, and when it crash-landed, the city itself ended up being turned into, or the starship itself turned into an actual city. And Throckmorton, one of our actual players here, was aboard that ship as it crashed. Tell us a little bit about your experience, Throck.
It was messy, to say the least. Unexpected, very disappointing, but alive, so that's a good thing.
So he survived. And the starship, when it did crash, ended up skipping like a stone across the ocean and settled on the beachhead of an island. When it did crash there, a person named Hugo Barton went ahead and eventually colonized the crashed starship, converting it into a starport. The old bays were completely gutted out, and buildings were erected within the actual starship itself. Sections of the roof were actually removed to allow sunlight in. A small landing pad set up just off of it. The purpose of this location was to establish a mining colony for the Outer Rim Ore Works. When the Outer Rim Ore Works established this city, they basically had all kinds of mining operations, all of that, digging from some of the rare minerals on the planet itself. However, Barton actually started finding other values on the planet. He actually started a fishing operation where they would actually send out skiffs out over the great seas and capture gigantic whale-sized fish that they would bring aboard and sell across the galaxies for exotic foods. Years went by, and the Barton family always controlled the starport. And this is where you guys find yourself right now, is all living within the starport itself. Crystal, your character is actually an Ewok who is new to Barton's Landing. Your character recently escaped captivity, and you traveled here to Barton's Landing as a way to try and hide for the brief moment while you search for a means to find a way back home to Endor. Tell us a little bit about how you imagine your character living on this Shadowport.
I would imagine at church to be kind of laying low, checking everything out, grabbing resources together. He probably has some sort of like hidden nest with stuff he's might have secured through means of snatching and robbery and burglaries. around. So he's trying to blend in with the scenery in the background and getting to learn the language of that inhabitants of where he is, right? Whatever. Someone can write on the side here and tell me.
And then Lauren, your character is a Arcanian enforcer, marauder. Your character has been on this Barton's Landing trying to actually find a way you can really make yourself known to the local crime operations. A hut is actually dealing with like spice trade and really is kind of running the underworld here on Barton's Landing. Tell us a little bit about how you think you're going to be able to convince this hut to employ you.
Well, I mean, I could just show up. I look pretty hardcore, but I can attempt to charm him, probably not successfully. Bless you, small dog. It's not small, but everything's a small dog. I will attempt to charm him, most likely not succeed, but I'm just going to try and take every job that I possibly can until he cannot help but hear my name on everybody else's lips around me, because I'm just so damn cool.
And then to reiterate, the Twi'lek photo there is actually not Lauren's character. It actually is Tabitha's character, and as you can see here with Tabitha, she's displaying what the Arcanian looks like. Tabitha, your character is a street rat, riff-raff, growing up on the streets of Barton's Landing, looking for your next meal. Tell us a little bit about how you imagine your character living on the streets of this starship / smuggler's port.
I mean, she's been doing it her whole life, so I think she's like made it work. She's got a little place she can call her own, and she makes it work. It is what it is. She's learned to live life that way. I don't think she looks at it as like good or bad. It just is what it is.
And then finally, Morgan. Your character is a Fragorzian exterminator. You were actually hired to travel to Barton's Landing because they have got a lot of small fish that are swimming into the underbellies of the Barton's Landing starport. And these fish do eventually grow to whale size. And they're afraid of these fish getting trapped and thus causing structural issues with the station. And that's why you are here.
Just here to do my job. Those things are pests. They tend to be. Especially depending on time of year. But they infest this time of year.
So basically, all of you are here on Barton's Landing, and each and every one of you is more or less maintaining your own lifestyle. You guys have probably all seen each other, but don't necessarily have any direct connections with each other. You actually see Throckmorton. Throckmorton is actually a hermit who has been living on this station, and he's been here about as long as anyone can expect someone to be. We have, you're always seeing Littlewood traveling around, chasing some kind of a scrum rat, a womp rat, a scurrier, or some kind of fish thing. He's hauling it off somewhere. Seth is best known for her breaking of kneecaps whenever possible. Watch your pockets whenever Rathka is around. And then, of course, the one person who is new to Barton's Landing that maybe most of you have not seen before, nor do you really recognize her species. Maybe she's a baby Wookiee, if all you know, is Apchurich.
He eats your heart.
Every time I eat a heart.
Please do that every time I eat your heart.
Every time I eat that heart, I want Tabitha to do the sound effect.
Well, your characters are actually all going about their own business, and one by one, a hood is put over one of your heads, and you are drug off somewhere. Does anyone want to try and resist?
I always wanted this.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and have everyone try to resist these goons that are coming out of the alleys and the dark corners of Barton's Landing and shouting, you know...
Are you not
I am not resisting.
I'm not resisting.
I am.
I'm resisting.
All right.
With a hood being put over your head, you're not resisting?
I'm resisting.
I
Second
owe a lot
proper
of people
resistance.
money.
Unless you're into that.
I
sort
owe
of
life
stuff.
death to at least one person.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
very well.
I'm
it might
resisting.
be in my best interest.
All right, so we're going to start here going around the table here, starting with Tabitha. Tell me, Tabitha, you are not resisting, correct? I didn't hear you, Tabitha.
I'm not resisting. Correct.
All right, so a hood is put over your head. You are more or less grabbed by these goons. You've never seen any of these individuals. They're a series of different Rhodians, like Greedo, who's there like, that is Katatunda, as they're putting this hood over your head and dragging you off. Next, we're going to go to Lauren.
I am resisting.
I assume. So you are surrounded by a group of different Rhodians there. They are all pointing blasters at you. Dakatundate, one of them says to you.
I try to punch that one in the face.
Ah!
All right.
Get going.
And that's how it starts. So you go ahead and grab that individual and try to punch them right in the face. Let's see here. We're going to actually have you roll a brawl check in order to punch that individual.
I still don't have my character sheet. It still won't load on Roll20, so...
Yep, I will go and roll it for you then. Not a problem. So you go ahead and just sock the guy right in the face. Let's see here. I did not roll the difficulty for... Oh, because I did not take my key off the difficulty. There we go, with difficulty. All right, so you go ahead and punch the guy right in the... Or try to punch the guy right in the face. When interpreting this, you actually failed with 2 advantage, which means you didn't hit him, but there's some kind of a positive benefit. What would you like that to be?
So I don't punch the guy in the face, but he would drop his blaster.
All right. Yes, you swing at him, and he goes ahead and tries to duck underneath, but managed to drop his blaster, skidding off over to the side. What are you going to do? So now he's going to go ahead and raise his weapon and try to stun you.
Is it one of those like stun baton things? Is like a stun gun thing, or just like try to hit me in the back of the
Nope,
head?
he's shooting you with a blaster, and rings are pouring out on the blaster as he's trying to go ahead and stun you into unconsciousness.
Trying to hit him or like kick him. I'm trying to knock him down, actually.
All right. Well, he does actually... I messed up that dice roll too because I didn't click off. All right. So he shoots at you and misses you. But with 1 advantage, he's going to pass a boost die to his next ally, who's now going to go ahead and try and shoot you as well.
God. Okay.
So the next ally tries to stun you with his stun blast and misses you as well. So you basically are just diving out of the way as one shot after another comes ricocheting in your general direction. The next bad guy goes ahead and also takes a shot at you. And he goes ahead and does hit you with a stun blast. The weapon itself does 6 damage plus 2 additional for the uncancelled successes for a total of 8 damage. However, Seth, you actually have a soak of 6, which acts as a damage reduction. So you actually only end up taking 2 strain damage from the stun blast, so it barely goes ahead and phases you. It is your chance now to go ahead and fight back.
To do that like thing that all the strong people do, where they like kind of crack the neck, like, you fucking piss me off, and then I'm just going to keep brawling with these guys and continue to punch them until they stop moving.
Perfect. So we're going to start with your character trying to coerce them by cracking her neck and showing off. Oops, that is the wrong character. So you're going to basically kind of crack your neck to the side and try to coerce them a little bit to see, do they actually fall or, are feared by your actions. So we're going to roll against their discipline here, and failure, threat, but triumph, which means you failed critically well.
Critically well.
So yes, so you failed to intimidate them. You rolled threat, which means when you did it, maybe your voice cracked as you were trying to threaten them a little bit. However, with triumph, anything particular you would like to have happen? It's very
maybe since I screwed up, one of them is laughing and is too busy laughing to be fighting you right now.
That's fair.
Perfect. So a couple of them are just bursting into laughter at your attempt to coerce them, so they are not able to actually fight back this round. But go ahead and make your combat check to go ahead and just smack that guy right in the throat. All right. Well, sorry, I went ahead and have too many difficulty in that, don't I? Ah. That's why. Hang on. All right. Reroll that combat check.
I gotta punch some dude in the face right now.
Oh, that was with your blaster. Sorry. Punch. So you smack the guy right in the face with 3 uncanceled successes. The base damage of your punch is 6 damage, plus the 3 uncanceled successes, doing 9 damage. You smack that Rhodian right in the nose, and he just drops unconscious.
I'm stoked.
Unfortunately, there's more than one of them, but the other 2 are just laughing. And they are actually now laughing at their friend that just got KO'd in a single punch by your character. Your action again, Lauren.
Well, I'm going to punch the closest laughing asshole.
One by one, she's going to punch them into submission.
True.
And she swings and a miss. So one of them basically ducks underneath that punch and is now going to come in to try and just knee you right in the chest.
That's just rude.
He's actually going to aim with his maneuver since he's engaged with you.
He didn't even ask. They're so unintimidated to let me go.
And man, oh wait a minute, I screwed that up. How did I screw that up?
That would be. They're like, you know what, you ain't worth
So this is the challenge of running your character sheet and mine at the same time, as I'm leaving a difficulty in one and not the other. There he goes. He goes ahead and punches you right back, nailing you really hard in the nose, dealing 6 wound damage to your character. But with a soak of 6, you ignore it all. And you're like, what? So the next one is going to go ahead and come around and attempt to actually punch you as well. And he actually does hit you with 4 advantage. Now, with 4 advantage, it's not enough to critically injure you, but it is enough for him to actually punch you with one fist and then spin around and round kick you for double damage. And actually then uppercut you for triple damage on that punch. So he just did 6, 12, 18 damage to you. But guess what? You soak it all 3 times, which means 6 damage, 6 damage, 6 damage, and you're just standing over him as he's punching and kicking, and you're just like a brick.
Amazing. This is the best thing I've ever built in my life.
She's badass.
At this point, they're both just staring at you, seeing that the strongest they're doing is doing very little damage to you. What are you gonna do?
So I can't really do this in real life, but like how The Rock can do that little thing with his eyebrows.
The people's eyebrow.
The people's eyebrows. Well, like, do that like real hardcore.
It's the wave with your
All right, Morgan, we need you to go ahead and demonstrate this, Morgan.
Can do.
But I'm gonna do it on both. I'm gonna swap eyes. Just be like, yeah. Oh, I can't do it. I'm gonna do that.
All right, so you go ahead and do another coercion check, trying to show off your ability to intimidate them and that you're not going to take anything from them. Because of what just happened, I'm going to give you advantage because I feel that your coercion will definitely be, received well, in the sense that these people are really realizing they're losing.
They fixed the wrong person. Yeah.
All right. However, once again, they don't find you very coercive. I mean, after all, they look at you and say, "She's just a girl."
Oh, they done fucked up, son.
One of them says, "Dakota Tetina," which is, "She's just a girl." And he prompts the other to go ahead and jump in for that fight.
Now they're really getting the people's eyebrow.
One of them looks at you, a little bit nervous. He takes a step back and draws his blaster pistol. Switches it to away from stun and over to kill mode.
Oh, shit. Oh, no. Okay.
And he takes a shot at you, dealing a total of 8 damage right into your chest. You soak 6 of it, but take 2 wound. So your wound threshold goes from 20 down to 18. But still, that's barely a scratch on your armor.
Okay.
The other one follows suit and goes ahead and steps back as well, and will go ahead and take a shot also on kill. And he goes ahead and hits you. However, he only does 7 damage, which is only 1 more, bringing your wound threshold from 20 down to 17, or from 18 down to 17. So right away, these guys are realizing even with blaster fire, they are barely scratching Seth, the enforcer. Seth, it is your action.
Okay. So the first guy who shot me on kill, definitely gonna run up and just elbow to the face. Like sprint and elbow to the face. Because, yeah, just I'm done. I'm done fucking with these fools.
Fuck yeah.
Who to the head? Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, so you go ahead and rush up to him. I'm gonna actually let's see here. We're gonna smack him, and you go ahead and take it with the elbow, and he dives underneath of it, avoiding your actual attack.
You're so slow.
Almost.
That's basically what it is. It's just that I'm slow.
Hey, you got fucking game though.
Yeah,
You're taking all these fools on. Slow game.
Gotta go slow.
At this point, you notice that the 2 of them realize they're outmatched, and they turn and start to run away.
I'm just gonna do this.
There is one still unconscious at your feet.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any. Do I have any weapons on me? I haven't even.
You do. You actually have a Characterz sword and a holdout blaster pistol.
I will. Oh.
If you want to search him for weapons, he does have a blaster pistol on him.
I think I will search him and I will take anything good he has, weapons and valuables, and kick him in the dick and then leave.
Kick him in the dick.
Kick him
Whatever.
in the dick, all right. So you go ahead and start searching over his unconscious form, and as you're actual searching, he remains unconscious with the advantage. However, you don't really notice he is carrying anything of any extreme value, so you just take the blaster that he brandished at you earlier, and you can go ahead and pocket it and head out on your way.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So, Littlewood,
Yes.
what are you doing?
I am sure as shit not resistant.
All right, so these guys come up with a bag and try to put it over your giant, furry head, and it actually barely covers your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably need special.
And they're like, Tati Kotatuna! And you see another one is a Gamorrean going,
Okay, that's a lot of noise. So, I'm
Also
gonna
very ugly.
just let them do the bag thing. That bag can go over my head, even though it's cutting off circulation in my face, and my nose. I can still sort of see through it. I don't think they're supposed to use them stretched as much.
yeah, if you want to give a vigilance check, you can try to see if you can spot anything on these guys.
Yeah, I'll do that. I want to see what I can spot on these guys.
All right. So I'm going to make it a challenge because if they see you noticing anything, they're going to go ahead and probably punch you. You're also going to have one setback because you actually have a bag over your head.
Yeah.
All right, but you succeed with advantage, which means as they're putting the bag over their head, you actually notice something. That these guys are wearing an emblem on their shirt. Something about Tyrius Sysworks.
What? Say that again. Sysworks.
Tyrius Sysworks.
Furious. Sysworks emblem.
Yep. And if you want to give me a knowledge underworld, we can try to see if you have ever heard of Tyrius Sysworks before.
Serious Sysworks.
Serious Sysworks.
And unfortunately, you have never heard of Tyrius Sysworks.
Okay. Huh. I thought I was privy to all of the secret societies in the galaxy, but apparently not.
But they go ahead and have your head covered, and if you don't resist, they kind of take you and throw you in a room with a with our other captured individual. Next up is going to be Throckmorton.
Yes.
So right away, you have a talent called Sense Danger, which means you actually are going to sense them before they're actually able to go ahead and even try to assault you. Okay? So let's come in here. We're going to actually roll your vigilance here. Let me open up your character.
Thank you. Thank you for rolling that for me.
No problem. Eventually, we'll get you guys going on learning this. We might have to do a session of, teaching some of this for you guys. But let's see here.
We don't have like an hour and a half of technical delays.
And you do not. You basically sense there's a threat, but you're not sure where it's coming from until they're right on top of you. So what kind of thing would you do to these people as you see these people surrounding you? You actually see this really wrinkly guy who's got these squinty little eyes. He's known as a weakway, is his species. You see one of those. You also see this really big guy who's just covered in, think of him like a giant walking beluga whale. This guy, or like a killer whale that's walking, he's known as a herglick. And this guy is actually about a good 2.5 meters tall.
Wow. Oh, shit.
Okay.
They bring in the big guns for you.
Of course they do. That's to be expected. Well, I think my first. See, that's actually tough. I think my first. I'm gonna try the. You want nothing to do with me.
All right. So you're going to go ahead and use the Force to try to convince them that you're basically using the Force against them.
Not the Santa, you're using the Force.
He's not the tall, thin Santa you.
All right. So let me go ahead and set your difficulty here.
Boxing Day.
All right. So with a single white pip, you're able to activate it on one of them. Unless you want to call on the dark side of the Force, and then you can use the 2 dark pips as well to affect all of them.
I will resist the temptation to call on the dark side of the Force, and I believe that I affect the Herglick. Is that correct?
Yes, the big Herglick.
Yes, I affect him most.
All right, what do you say to him when you wave your hand?
You are afraid of little purple donkeys, and you are surrounded by little purple donkeys.
All right. So you go ahead and wave your hand, telling him he's afraid of purple donkeys. And he quite literally responds back to you, I'm afraid of purple little donkeys. And now you're going to go ahead and use the Force to actually try to create an illusion of purple donkeys all around him. Because you are being accosted by the other 2, I am going to give you setback.
Okay.
But you wave your hand, and little purple donkeys are appearing. However, he's not really noticing them because you failed your check. Unless you want to call on the dark side.
Keep offering me this.
You can turn that failure into a success.
What does that
He's
involve
very
precisely?
tempting.
What that means is you basically take what's called one conflict. Now, at the end of the game session, you're going to go ahead and roll a conflict roll to see if you move towards the dark side or the light side. Because maybe the calling on the dark side just happened to be the will of the Force, so as a result, you go towards the light. Or maybe you truly did give into the dark side and go ahead and move closer to falling to the dark.
I'm going to, is it one dark, is that what you said?
Yes.
I'm going to do that.
All right. So you use one ability to go ahead and activate the misdirect power, the second white pip to create the illusion, and the dark pip you use to go ahead and turn it into a success. So he actually sees this, and you see this big guy immediately go ahead and say, "No, no, no, no!" And he starts running away in fear. He's like, "No, not purple-eyed donkeys!" Leaving only 2. But they go ahead and are not falling for your tricks. They're actually quite surprised at the insanity of the one. But, these guys here, they're just going to go ahead and try to stun you into submission.
Bring it, bitches.
They're actually going to aim their weapons at you, and they're going to do a combined check where they're assisting each other when attacking you. So shots are coming from both sides. Oh my goodness, that is a heck of a hit. So that's going to be 10 damage, which you only soak 2 of. And this is against your strain. So as a result, you actually go down 8 points out of your 13 strain. Furthermore, they rolled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 advantage. Now, it only takes 3 advantage for them to critically injure you, which means they go ahead and critically injure you plus 10.
Holy
So that means your character gets hit by the waves of these energy stun bursts. and you basically lose your balance. You fall back and hit your head hard on the ground, taking a critical injury.
Jesus. Well, that's not good.
That's what you hear as you're losing consciousness.
All right, so basically you would have... Actually, I rolled that wrong. My bad. It's a die 100 roll. 25 on the crit table. So your character goes ahead and takes a minor crit. You have a head ringer, so your character is right now trying to get back his consciousness as he's kind of moving and swaying a little bit, trying to really catch his bearings for a brief moment. They go ahead and slap a bag over your head and drop and clip a pair of cuffs on your wrists as you are right now completely disoriented, and they drag you away.
Fuckers. I'll have my revenge.
Last but not least is Crystal. Apturich. You suddenly see a Miralon female, which is an attractive humanoid female with green skin and diamond-like tattoos across her nose. You recognize her immediately as the Valkyrie.
Oh. So I'm both attracted to and terrified of.
You know the Valkyrie because the Valkyrie is the chief enforcer of Random the Glove Tiv, the person who had you captured.
Son of the stars.
Apparently, his operatives from Tyrius Sysworks are actually here to capture you, and while they're at it, they're rounding up a few potential others, which they can force into their plot. You see the Valkyrie come stepping up to you, and she kind of looks at you. Well, well, well. If it isn't the little furball. Are you ready for another lash from my Electro Whip?
Oh.
I look up at her and I take a deep breath and my little heart's pounding. And I go, bring it, baby. Bring it. But I do it in an Ewok sounding voice, which isn't nearly as sexy as that. It's more like, I'm trying to like spark English. Could you do that again? Like,
so you're basically going, here we go, with that. Venga, Ewoks!
Just like that.
With like a
Does
little
she understand me?
teeny clawed middle finger. Like,
She does not understand your gibberish. And she immediately comes in to go ahead and make an attack on your character.
What's around me? Can I see? Do I have? Do my little arms have access to anything?
Yeah, you're kind of basically on a quiet area. There's like a astromech droid over on the corner with his head dome ripped off, and it looks like they started a little bonfire in his body. You actually saw somebody who was there keeping warm by the astromech bonfire before they turned and just kind of ran off just as this person kind of stepped out in front of you. There is like a little rat-like creature bouncing, on the floor. It is kind of nighttime, so it is fairly quiet. However, you do see a couple of crates you could probably crawl up on top of, which might allow you to jump on top of an awning, crawling on top of the building, and trying to escape from the rooftops.
How tall is she?
This woman's about 1.6 meters tall, so just
Okay.
under 6 foot.
So how long are her legs?
A lot longer than yours.
Can I go under them?
She is actually wearing a very large, flowy robe dress, all dressed in black. And you could run right into her dress-like robe. You may get caught up in there, you might not.
All up in
Can I roll to try?
Yes, you can.
I'm gonna go under her.
All right. So you go ahead and take off running, doing a coordination check to try to run up underneath of her. Let's see here. We're going to make it a hard check just because she is, pretty alert and is aware that you are a threat. I'm also going to upgrade one to a challenge dice because of the fact that she is an adversary. And because of the thick flowing robes that you're more or less running between, I'm going to give you a single setback.
Okay. My
And
goal
you're-
is to run through and to the fire, the thing that's on fire,
All right.
where they did.
Well, you actually
Okay.
succeed with 2 successes and an advantage. So you just more or less come charging, going, Thanga Ewoks! As you come running and just plow right through her. She kicks up over you, trying to avoid being bowled over by your character with your Bantha Rush. And, but she immediately spins around and is disoriented for a brief moment as you kind of knock her off balance.
I'm running towards the thing that's on fire, the droid that's on fire, where they built the fire out of.
Perfect.
With my Ewok banter, I'm like trying to wake people. Why? I have no idea. I'm just thinking the diversion would be.
Would be excellent.
I'm making that exact noise.
All right. She goes ahead and spins around, pulls out her whip. It ignites into an electrical field, and she just whips right at your character as you're trying to rush towards the droid.
What does she do to me?
She does hit you with the whip. She ensnares you with the whip. She electrocutes you with the whip. So you're actually hit with the whip, and you take 4 damage, which you soak 2 of. Okay?
Okay, so I have 2 to my strain.
However, and that's just with your wound damage. She then activates, or she ensnares you, preventing you from moving any further away with 2 of her advantage. Then with 2 of her advantage, she activates the shock, which goes ahead and does 6 strain damage to you. And with her final advantage, she knocks you prone.
Oh
Should
no.
have just jabbed her in the
That is what I should have done. I was thinking about that, but I was like, is it too early to fist? Right up there.
It's never not the right time.
Just remember, this is the fifth.
Yeah.
She goes
okay.
ahead and grabs the whip and just starts pulling you towards her, twisting it and dragging you closer and closer to her. So you're being drugged on this Duracrete floor.
There's a part of my soul that's going, it's gonna happen again, and I'm building my happy place. Building my
Seth, Lauren,
Yes.
you are actually, now that you've escaped your little trap, you are walking and you see this woman assaulting what looks like a baby Wookiee.
Okay.
Really.
Do I know
dirty
this
Vita.
woman?
You have never seen her before.
And I obviously don't know the baby Wookiee.
She's your competition.
Correct. You don't know either of them. However, she is accosting the little Ewok.
I would just walk up and try and separate the two. Just be like, what the fuck's going on, guys? You're kind of annoying.
All right. So you just she basically releases the whip from the Ewok and turns to face you.
I'm itching my butt.
The woman.
Yes, the woman. So you are definitely towering over her, because since you are a tall individual.
Dope. Be like, what's up?
She looks at you and tells you, "Stand down, stranger."
Stand.
Make me,
Fuck.
bitch. No one talks to me like that.
Ooh.
Fire.
All right. So she's going to go ahead and try to coerce your character. Let's see here. I'm just looking at what your difficulty would be for that. All right. She tries to coerce your character and fails miserably with 4 failures. So now the two of you are just staring at each other, staring each other down. in the middle of the street here. You guys can both roll a cool check to determine who gets to go first in initiative.
Yeah.
So she's going to go ahead and roll her cool first. And this is a simple check. So she has 2 successes and 3 advantage. And now you're going to roll your cool. Let's see here. You have 1 success, 2 advantage, and a triumph. Which means you get a free maneuver before she can actually go. She goes first, but you get a free maneuver to do something. You could use a maneuver to, like, take a guarded stance, making it harder for her to, like, knock you down. You could go ahead and use your maneuver to step farther back, forcing her to take more of a rush towards you. You could use that maneuver to go grab something and use it for cover. You know, like grab a cart and use it as a weapon. You could draw your actual sword if you wanted to.
I will draw my sword.
All right. So yeah, sing, you pull out your actual sword, and you're like, bring it.
Yeah.
You want to grab a sword and give it to her out of that box?
Ooh.
And she comes charging at you with no weapons whatsoever.
She can fucking try. I've been shot at already today, and that didn't go well for those people, so I don't even care. I'm prepared to kick her ass.
All right. So she rushes towards you, aiming once, and actually hits you really hard with her punch. The punch goes ahead and does 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage, taking you down 1 more wound, down to 16 wound, but it barely scratches you.
Oh, no. Bite. Alright, rather than hit her with the sword, or rather attack her with the sword, I will punch her to show her this is the option if she keeps fucking with me. But I'm going to punch her still.
Punch her still? Perfect. Alright, so let's double check here. Gotta actually turn off all my dice here. Otherwise they'll roll on yours. Alright, so we're going to come in here and you're going to do the punch attack. And you go ahead and just sock her right in the nose. And you end up dealing 4, 5, 6 damage with that punch. However, as you do that, she grabs your wrist, spins around, flipping over your actual punch, and actually takes no damage with Master of Terra Sky martial art moves.
Wow.
She then pulls you forward, almost knocking you off balance for just a brief moment. However, you have 1 advantage, which when she lands from her fancy kick, she actually falls to a knee for a brief second.
Okay. Sword there. See where next.
Crystal, what are you doing? Yeah, you're still there.
Well, I wasn't aware, so I'm stunned from the whip.
You just took stun damage. You were never unconscious. And she released the whip when she turned to fight Seth, which means you're still there and can still engage in this or just run away.
I'm watching 2 women fight, so I'm like a little bit standing there just kind of admiring it.
So you're saying you're the actual guy who's there and shouting, hey, where's the actual mud bath right now?
Yeah, no, sort of like that. I'm like, they're both just kicking ass, and I'm just in awe of Seth. And also I realize that Seth is now my hero, and I might be somewhat indebted to her, so I'm trying to not be. Right. So I will...
So do you want to do a charm check to try, or a leadership check to try and embolden Seth and heal a couple of her strain, or give her a boost die by encouraging her, going like, you can do it, you can do it.
Yes, but sounding more like an Ewok though. And does Seth understand what I'm saying?
you always understand your party. Somehow, she understands the unknown language of the Ewoks.
You understand me.
I guess.
That's a thing.
dope.
Great.
Sarah's equivalent of dope is.
Applefish, that's the thing. You've got
All
it.
right, so let's see here. So it's going to be a average leadership check for you.
Okay.
Let me make sure I have got my difficulty turn up. All right, so leadership check.
Help you. Yeah. What? I'm not sure because you're so amazing. Right
It's a
now.
complete wash. So you don't do anything. You're just there like, yeah, and nothing really happens as a result of that.
As I'm cheering for Seth, can I be grabbing my stuff now
Yes.
that
You have a maneuver to get up. You can take 2 strain to do a second maneuver to start collecting all your stuff.
Okay. That's,
Or you could
That's
just
what I-
collect it while on the ground still, kind of a thing.
yeah, I'm gonna collect it while I'm on the ground, like
All right.
watching though, like staring.
So you're like cheering on as you're grabbing your stuff on the ground, kind of rolling around as a couple things kind of slide out. The woman goes ahead and turns towards Seth, and she now is going to go ahead and come in with a multi-attack. So she's actually going to attempt to do a punch-kick attack on Seth using martial arts, and she succeeds. So Seth, you're going to go ahead and take 4 wound damage, which you completely soak. It does nothing to you. However, with 2 advantage, she goes ahead and catches a little bit of your skin and activates the shock gloves that she's wearing, doing 7 strain damage to your character, knocking your strain 1 more point down with your soak of 6. Actually, I'm sorry. It's a stun-only weapon, so it actually ignores your soak. So you actually go ahead and take 7 strain damage.
Can I run towards them and try to bite the Valkyrie?
Yes, you can bite Valkyrie. So with initiative can change between player characters. So if Crystal, if you want to go before Seth, you can run right up and try biting the Valkyrie.
With your permission.
The
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna go.
Yes.
That looks really cool.
So Crystal, if you want to bite the Valkyrie, it's actually going to be a 2 red difficulty because of her adversary. And let's see here. I have
It's already stacked against me. I'm a little Ewok, and already it's like the world's against me.
Yeah.
Come on, dice.
And she just kind of kicks you off to the side.
Do I distract her through that whole thing? a little
Yes,
bit?
with an advantage, you can give her a setback on her next attack, or you can give a boost to Seth on her attack.
I'm going to give a setback on her next attack. So this way, she's unended.
Perfect. All right, Seth, you're up.
I'm done fucking around with this bitch. I'm just gonna attack her with my sword now. I am so done with this day.
Got it, haunted.
I applaud.
All right. So you go ahead and you're going to smack her with your sword.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Okay, you despaired, but have a ton of success. Which means you just did 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 damage with your sword. Your sword goes ahead and just slices right into her really hard. And she basically drops, not down, but drops really hard. However, there's a despair. As she falls down, she takes your sword out with her, out of your hands. And she's kind of stepping back with the sword in her as she turns and starts running away with your sword impaled in her.
No, you don't. I'm just gonna follow her. She can't go that far.
All right, so it's going to be a chase.
Hell yeah.
All right, so you're going to go ahead and start chasing after this woman. Give me you're going to do an opposed athletics check. Okay. So let's see here. So it's going to be a hard athletics check for your character to chase after her. Crystal, are you also going to be running after her?
I was about to say my little fat Ewok body can be like, well, my butt.
All right.
Like,
well, so she failed. You failed to actually close on her. So she's actually getting away from you and moved from short range over to medium range as she's starting to escape, Seth. However, Seth, you have 4 advantage, which you can use to gain some kind of a boost die. You're also going to gain a second boost die because you are familiar with this city a lot more than she is. So you can do things in a chase. You could do like streetwise checks to find shortcuts. You could do athletics checks to go ahead and run. You could do, any number of different kind of skills to try and keep up with her. If you have a ranged weapon, you can draw it and just shoot at her as she's fleeing.
Do I have a ranged weapon?
You do.
Well, I'm just gonna.
You're at the maximum range. She's at the maximum range of your holdout blaster right now. So if she gets one more range band, she'll be out of the range of your weapon.
Okay, I'm gonna take out my gun. I'm going to yell, "Stop her! She's stealing my sword!" And I'm gonna shoot her.
Stop that woman!
I may have stuck my sword in her, but she's escaping with it.
She's stealing.
Yes. And then I shoot her.
All right. You raise your blaster and take a shot, missing triumphantly. So you take a shot and you miss her, but with the triumph, a couple other people come out and you actually see some of Barton's police enforcers who try cutting her off.
Damn, I got friends on high places. Okay, cool.
So a group of Barton's people have joined your little fight, and they're helping you right now as they're trying to stop the theft of your sword.
Yeah, goddamn right.
Crystal, what are you doing?
I'm still running. I've got really small legs.
It's taking me a long
they have
time.
really long legs. We discussed how long their legs are. So, yeah. And I'm
All
making
right.
that.
So Crystal, you are chasing after them. So I'm going to have you give me a athletics check to try and keep up. So let's see here. Oh, I forgot your difficulty. My bad.
I put smartness in me, not so much the other stuff. You want me to fly fast again? Want me to run? Wow.
All right, you are running and you're like, oh my God. Okay, hang on a moment. You just kind of walk over, you grab a water from one of the nearby stands. As somebody's sitting there, are you going to pay for that?
It's just I just need just a moment, but in Ewok, so I don't know if they understand me yet.
And then you go ahead and keep running, but she is definitely getting away.
You can visually see though that there's so much distance, and I'm exhausted, and you can see like there's not as much distance. Yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger, and you look at where I ran, and it's like not that much at all.
So you see the woman who is now being corralled by the guards. You see her jump and do a backflip over the guard with the sword still in her, landing on her feet. She turns and starts running away.
Who is this crazy thing?
I'm just gonna keep following her.
All right, so how are you going to chase her? Are you going to try and find a shortcut? Are you going to just try to... Because she's now out of the range of your weapon.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for shortcuts, and I'm just gonna keep being like, "Stop her! She's doing cool shit. She stole my stuff. Come on!" And just
All right, so you're going to go and do a streetwise check. Well, all right. Wait a minute. There's too many reds. Hang on, I gotta see why I've got too many reds in here. Oh, because you had 2 reds turned on. All right. So we're going to re-roll that because it would have been a failure, although it would have been well, okay, I'll give you the option. You could keep a failure with advantage and triumph, or you could re-roll.
I would just re-roll.
Re-roll. All right. Success with triumph. So you managed to go ahead and run around a corner. The triumph means you actually move from medium to short automatically. And then with the 3 successes, you get from short to engaged. So right away, you have a chance to go ahead and capture her. Because you reach engaged, the chase is over, and you guys are back into melee.
I really just want to take the sword out and walk away.
All right. So,
hey, live through this. Teach me your parkour, but otherwise, you're kind of a bitch.
all right. So we're going to go ahead and have you do a brawl check to yank the sword out of her.
Yeah. Twist it 90 degrees.
Exactly. Twist it 90 degrees on the way out. See if you kill her.
Nice.
I like to twist on the way in.
Twist on the way in.
Yeah.
I'll just pull it out.
It's like the over-under.
If she survives,
toilet
she
paper
earned it.
You twist on the way in.
Okay. You grab the sword, yanking it out of her. And she drops to one knee. You did 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 damage. And she drops unconscious.
I'm just going to leave. If she doesn't survive, that's her problem.
Yep. You go ahead and wipe the blood off your sword on her, black outfit. And, yeah. And then the Ewok finally catches up.
Yes. Can I look around to see if there's a speedster or something that I can hop on and look, mildly chivalrous in?
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a land speeder kind of nearby. You can kind of hop in and just kind of pull up to her.
I'm gonna get in the speedster and I'm gonna roll right after.
Get in
there. She rolls up. So first you have to actually hotwire this thing, Crystal, because it's not yours. So go ahead and give me a average computers check to try to hotwire this thing in order to more or less steal it, if you will.
Okay, my magic roll. Are you rolling for me?
Yep, I'm rolling for you. So bear with me here.
Oh yeah, no, I
am going to upgrade one to a red because we're going to say this thing might have a car alarm.
Oh yeah. Listen, where's the Jedi when I need him? Jedi, make the car alarm go.
Despair, failure. So you're in this thing, you're hot wiring, trying to look all awesome. The car alarm is going off. Nee, 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 nee. Lights are flashing. People are waking up. And those guards that were trying to corral her a moment ago, that were about to head over and just about to find Seth pulling her sword out of the person, leaving them for dead, are suddenly really distracted by you, Crystal, and a car alarm, and allowing Seth to have a chance to escape. Crystal, you can get a free maneuver as well to get out of the vehicle and start running away from it as the police are coming to investigate.
The maneuver. I'm in a maneuver.
All right. So you use your Let's Ride incidental to crawl out of the vehicle and your free maneuver with your advantage to kind of run into the alley and catch up where you see Seth.
Okay. I'm winded. I'm like, those were some great moves over there. That was you were talented. And I'm trying to charm her because she understands my speech, but I can tell she's a badass. So I'm trying to be macho about it, but at the same time, I'm like in awe. So I realize, and I sound just like that. And I'm doing those eyes too, the eyebrows. Exactly what Tabitha's doing. That's how I sound. That's how I look. But Seth can hear me. She understands me.
Yeah, so Seth, there's a little bear trying to charm you.
Like,
I can be of use to you.
What was that about?
Not that use. That's just I had a rough day.
I basically killed that lady for you.
And I'm
I
in debt
guess.
to you. In fact, I am so much in debt to you that I'm going to follow you around. Here's the thing.
Okay, I asked a question. What's going on with that? I just want to know. Do I want to get involved? Is there money there? Is there a job? That's all I want to know.
So, Crystal, your character is aware that the Valkyrie works for a crime lord known as Ranum the Glove Tiv. And he owns Tyrius Sisworks. You ran afoul of Ranum the Glove Tiv, and he went ahead and put you in suspended animation and propped you as a trophy in his office until a group of smugglers more or less asked for your character to be a bargaining chip because they were curious about you. Ranum the Glove Tiv ordered Valkyrie to torture you upon releasing you, and you managed to escape somehow in the chaos of everything, badly wounded, and you stowed away aboard a starship and ended up here on Barton's Landing.
So knowing that she asked this question, I kind of lift up some of the sheath that's covering me. And
Whoa.
I'm like, just bear with me. I'm going to show you something. This is, and then you can see all my scars that I have.
So she's taking her clothing off, Seth.
Taking my furry clothing off, and you can see where there's no fur. And I just say, this is what they did for me. I'm a unique species. I know I'm not all that unique. I know there's a lot of Ewoks, but she doesn't know. So and she probably still thinks I'm a furry thing of something, right? Yeah, she doesn't know what I am. I'm just a cute teddy bear, and so I'm trying to go with that.
So I'm like, sees you as a service animal.
This is what they did to me. They abused me. They hurt me. I'm gonna go with the guilting, like feeling sad, sort of thing. Like I'm Catholic.
So you look like an abused animal that needs to be put in a crate and taken to a veterinarian.
I'm like, I've been healing myself, and I push it down, and I was really vulnerable for a moment, and I recognize how vulnerable that is. So therapy sessions I've been working, and I'm like, I trying to convey to you, Seth, that I wasn't so useful back there, but I have a lot of skills. I know how to fly. I know how to, and the more I'm saying this, the bigger my eyes are getting, and the less my snarl's coming, and I'm like doing that big doughy Ewok chubby
like little puppy eyes.
Yeah, puppy eyes, and I'm like, I am useful. I can help you in ways, and I can get your stuff if you need stuff. Like, I am appealing to stuff because just between me and all the people out there, I know that she can protect me. And currently, I'm really smart, but I'm not so much on the brawling side. So I'm gonna just keep the big eyes, those big pet eyes. Like, you want a companion. What are you doing here? Like, what is it you want here? How can I help you?
So do you want to roll a charm check?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
All right. So you're going to try and actually charm Seth. Go ahead.
Rolls. Super rolls.
Yes.
Successful rolls. I'm rolling my charmness.
Yes. So your character is going to try to charm Seth. Let's see here.
You could annihilate everybody.
Nope. Hang on. I got to turn off a couple of dice on the GM screen.
I'm charming you. I'm hoping.
All right. You do charm her a little bit. So, Seth, you feel a little bit compelled or sorry for this pathetic little life form.
Like that.
I can be of use to you. Not a lot of people understand me here.
Right. We gotta be helpful.
So as the Ewok continues to chatter on and on and on and on your character, another figure enters the alleyway. He is a large, six-armed basilisk. If you remember Dexter from Dexter's Diner in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan went and visited Dexter, and Dexter is a basilisk. And he's there, his Grodel is kind of just going, opening, close.
Oh, that guy.
And he kind of takes a look at you. So, looks like you guys can manage yourselves well.
Oh yeah, we totally can. I'm like leaning up next to Seth.
Who are you?
Call me the broker. I've got a transmission for you. He reaches into one of his pockets and pulls out a holographic a little holographic messenger. And the hologram actually appears of a cloaked, hooded figure. You can't see the figure's face because it's completely cloaked in shadow in the hologram, but you do see these two like little pincer-like things kind of sticking out a little bit from the shadow. Yes, greetings.
Do we recognize?
You do not recognize who this is. I am. You may know me as the Shadow Broker for now.
So we have a broker and a shadow broker. Are there just like fire brokers and water brokers, or is that just a thing? Or
You're funny and you kick ass. You're just amazing. It's just a thing.
Very well. I am the Baron. And how are you today?
I got shot at a couple times, so I've been
Most
better.
unfortunate. Well, my dear, you seem quite capable, and I would be very pleased in actually hiring your assistance.
Okay, now you got my attention.
The broker here, I sent him here to try and locate a certain individual. I believe he's a hermit on your world. Perhaps, I believe his name was Mandoon, or was it Crod Mandoon, or
It's a really stupid name.
something. I forget exactly, but he's trying to track him down, and I would actually appreciate your assistance in recovering him. Unfortunately, I understand he ran afoul of some of the individuals who tried accosting you, and perhaps you would like a little bit of payback.
I'm always up for payback and money, so why the fuck not?
We'll split it half.
Give me more information.
Well, to start with, I understand you're looking to actually become an enforcer. Is that correct?
That's the plan.
I can actually introduce you to one of the lieutenants of the hut in charge. Would that be of value to you?
Maybe.
Well, if you'd be interested in that, that will be my payment.
No money? No. What?
You gonna try and negotiate for money there, Crystal?
Yes.
All right. So Crystal, you right away jump in and are like, wait, what? No money? No. I get paid.
Tell us more, Teddy Ruxpin.
We want to be friends. I want your money.
He seems to not even see you because the hologram is being held up high and you're down below. So
Jumpy.
he sees your little ears popping up in the camera, but more or less ignores you.
I elbow Seth, but like a little nudge, like try to not get creepy to touch her, but like this, like, and I look up and I'm like, you're gonna want money too. I mean, he can still do this for you and money. Make him give you money.
The kid wants money. What's the money situation? Besides this, what about the money?
Good question, Seth.
I suppose I may be able to provides minor compensation. Would you... He's like, are you merely just a mercenary in search of money, or would you like a potential for something more?
Tell him we need money and we need a speedster.
So he's kind of also ignoring you, Seth or Lauren, about your request for money as well. It is your choice. Do you want the opportunity? Will you walk through the door? Or shall we disappear back to the shadows?
No, I'm definitely down for the opportunity. It's just this one.
We need a speedster to find the
How many people do you think we're going to encounter between us and this crab rangoon guy?
Well, my dear, that is for you to find out. I suggest you observe whether taking this Mandoon or Mortoon or Throckmorton. Yes, that's what it is. I suggest you go ahead and investigate him and find where he's being held. And I recommend you approach when there's the least amount of guards. And avoid shift change when there's double.
So when I get this guy, what do I do? Where do I bring him?
You will contact me. My associate here, and the Basilisk hands you over a data pad or a comm channel. He's like, my associate here will provide you with a communication method. Once you've actually recovered this Mortoon, you'll reach out to me.
Sure, why not?
Excellent.
He has to walk? We're gonna walk?
I look forward to hearing of a success. And the communication cuts off, and the big Basilisk guy looks at you. Don't screw this up, with his Grodel kind of expanding. I'd hate to actually fail the Baron on this one.
Whatever.
Fail the parrot? What did he say?
He turns around with his big belly, hikes up his pants, and kind of starts to walk off.
Fuck you too, buddy.
Are we finding... Do you know even who we're looking
All right,
for?
the other three, thank you for being patient. You guys have been tossed in the back of what appears to be like a giant cargo container. You're just kind of thrown in there. You pull your hoods off, and the container door closes, putting you in complete darkness. So you can't actually see who's in the room with you. You can only hear and touch and feel each other.
Oh.
Hang on, let me turn on the mature rating. So that would be Littlewood, Rathka, and Throck. You guys are in complete darkness. You can only hear and touch each other.
Is there someone else here?
And Throck, you still have your cuffs on.
I can smell you. Does anybody I'm wearing cuffs. If there's somebody here, can you help me? Perhaps.
Just shut up and sit still.
What she said.
They obviously don't want to kill us because they would have done it by now.
We could uncuff.
So they want us for a reason. Let's just wait to see what it is.
But don't you feel like uncuffing me?
No,
Would be helpful.
I have no
help
reason
you.
to help you.
I could perhaps be more useful.
Just shut up and sit still.
There's something else here though. Something smells.
Oh my gosh.
What is that smell? It smells like vanilla and redemption.
Littlewood does smell very much like seafood, being that he just recently was...
Okay. It smells like delicious crab rangoon, actually. Smell crab rangoon.
This is my punishment.
It's
I've
a
done
repellent.
hell. This is what happened.
I'm also surrounded by a lot of
I hate it.
sediment. It's not. I can't rid myself of
A
this.
very mulchy crab rangoon.
Yeah, yeah.
Us big.
Some people find it appealing.
Some people do.
Yes.
But I can't see what you look like, so maybe you have a way to
Well, I can get
So-
the fucking tag off of my head.
So, Throck, as you reach out, you act in Littlewood's direction, you just feel a giant poof of fur.
Ooh, that's a who feels the poop?
It's not me.
Throck feels a giant poof of Littlewood fur.
I feel a great
Oh,
big poop
boy.
of fur. That's a lot of fur you've got there. My hands are behind the back, I think. So what I'm
Okay,
feeling
you
you
in
with
the
my
prayer.
face is what I'm doing. And I don't like it. I'm not sure I like it. But you're very furry, aren't you, little guy? You're a wee furry fellow, aren't you? Hey,
Don't say we, okay?
yes, in French.
Oh, they're French.
I don't think I look abnormal. I've never thought of it.
I don't think I'm saying you look abnormal. I'm saying you're a wee furry fellow, and I can't see you because we're in the dark. I'm asking you, who are you? Why are you so wee and
My
furry?
name is Littlewood.
Littlewood. That's great. That doesn't bode well for the ladies, but I think
Well, most of them do tend to like my head to body ratio.
oh well, that's true. You know, you've got that girthy mushroom thing going on.
Exactly.
Well, that's lovely. Are you furry in that way too?
So what's the Twi'lek's head's about to explode, I think.
I'm furry all over the place.
Do you have a way to uncuff me? Is what I want to know.
That would be
No
nice.
one wants to.
That would be nice.
I think
Being
it's a good
uncuffed would be
idea
good.
if you
Then we
uncuff
can-
me.
Why? So we can wander around in the dark?
So that once
Oh,
the
maybe we
dark
can
is
have
no
some
longer
afternoon
here, my
tea.
hands are free and I can do something
You
with
think
them.
they don't have guards outside the door like they went through all this effort to trap us? and
It
then they just left
doesn't
us
look like
unguarded?
they do, but
You're
I
so
also
cynical.
can't tell from this.
You
I'm
have
sure.
a
It's
bag
dark.
on your head.
We can't tell anything.
Well, but yeah, but
Obviously,
this bag sort of
you can't
stretches.
tell.
This bag sort of
Oh my
stretches
God.
thin. You don't understand, really. I have a
I've
big
gone
face.
hell.
May I
No.
suggest that you remove the bag?
When
from
you
the
see my
floor?
face for the first time, you'll understand why this bag is not impeding my vision the way it is.
Remove the bag from his head.
My bag is tight.
He obviously doesn't need it removed because he can see
Well,
through it,
course, sort of.
right?
There's an obstructed view.
So right away, as you guys mentioned, there are guards just outside. If you guys quiet, you might be able to try and hear what they're saying.
I'm gonna move closer
Yeah,
to
if
the
you would
door,
shut the fuck up.
and I'm gonna listen to the guards. You can shut your mouth, you wee.
Can the gods maybe bring us some beer?
All right, so Throck, you go ahead and start trying to listen in to see if you can actually hear what the guards are saying. I will give you a setback because you are inside the container. A second setback because of all the bickering of other characters, arguing about it's dark. Hey, watch out! Oh, hey, don't touch me there! And then you hear one of them go, woohoo, do it again. It gets really awkward. But Throck...
It's that.
All right. Throck, you succeed using your Jedi powers to actually enhance your hearing, and you are able to hear the actual guard saying, "Where's the Valkyrie? I don't know, but if she doesn't get here soon, we're going to leave without her. The glove won't like that. Well, I don't have all day."
That was in character, by the way.
So wherever you are, you're basically in a holding pattern waiting for someone known as the Valkyrie.
The Valkyrie. The Valkyrie.
Has either of you ever heard of this Valkyrie?
Actually, I believe I have.
Have you?
Yes, but I can't remember where. Too much beer.
Too much beer for some poor fellow. What
But
about
it sounds like someone I've
cynical McGrumpy over here? Have you heard of the Valkyrie? You know this Valkyrie?
Maybe.
She was probably mean to me at one point.
You guys can also use your abilities to try and search in the pitch black darkness for hatches, locks you could try to pick, something you might be able to open, maybe tools inside this room, you don't know.
Things? Can I is that something I can use a Jedi awesomeness thing for?
No. You don't have that force power. However, you can attempt a power check that you don't have with a hard difficulty. You're just going to need 2 white pips in order to sense something with Seek.
Is there any negative possible repercussion if I don't get it?
No.
I'll give it a try.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and have you do this in the dark. It's going to be an average difficulty with 3 setback from the darkness. And let me come in here and do a perception. Nope. You just can't perceive it, Throck. Now, Rathka,
Oh,
do you happen to have, Tabitha, your character sheet with you?
Oh, I do.
You're full of
Wait, is it still not
Can
loading?
I roll to see if I know anything about the Valkyrie?
Yes, you can go ahead and roll an underworld check to see if you've ever heard of this Valkyrie. Bear with me here. The reason I'm asking, Rathka, if you know what's in your gear, because your character, I believe, I'm double checking here, I believe your character actually has goggles that will let you see in the dark.
Awesome. Wait, this is. I bet you can pull this up.
I could be wrong. That's why I'm checking it.
helpful that you use those so quick.
Let me message.
I wouldn't use them to help you.
Oh, I'm wrong. You do not have goggles to see in the dark. I thought you did. All right. So, what about Littlewood? Maybe Littlewood has something that'll help gear-wise.
Why haven't? How can I use?
Nope. Nothing to see in the dark. And Throck, do you have anything to help you see in the dark that you would need someone else to help you put on because you just can't see?
Good question.
Let's see here. You do not either. So all three of you do not have scanner goggles.
No scanner goggles. Note to self.
Can you access?
Get scanner goggles.
All right. So yes, you guys are there. You're trying to perceive things. You're gonna, Rathka, you wanted to make an underworld check to see if you've ever heard of the Valkyrie before. Let me do that check for you real quick. I just gotta turn off the GM pool. All right. So underworld. You've never heard of the Valkyrie. Apparently they may have a cool name, but they're just not cool enough to be known by anyone all the way out here on Lamarad.
I'm going to keep them in suspense anyway. I'm not going to tell them I don't know.
I didn't catch that, Tabitha.
I'm going to keep them in suspense and not tell them that I don't know who the Valkyrie is.
God damn it!
Perfect. So, how are you guys going to get yourselves out of this?
Well, you know, teamwork makes the dream work.
Oh my god.
After
In your
work,
dreams, buddy.
That's my personal hell.
would you consider
No.
payment?
No.
You're not? Wow. So, what is your primary motivation, if not, you know, mercenary?
My primary motivation?
Yes.
Survival.
That's it. You don't want money.
I mean, money's nice, but it only gets you so far.
All right. We're in the dark. We could get out of here with a little, I don't know.
Well, they put us here for a reason, so why don't we just wait and find out what the fuck it is?
You just want to wait.
Well, good. Then you squirm around in the dark.
We could try asking politely for some information.
The
How
guards.
about you knock on the door?
I shall.
Say,
I'll
Throck, do you want to try and pick or slip your hands out of your wrists, out of the cuffs?
Yes, that's what I want to do.
All right. Let's see what he can do. Let's see here, and... Nope, they don't come out.
Why is it that everything is working against me today?
Do you want to try and reach the lightsaber on your belt?
Yes, I want to try to reach the lightsaber on my belt.
I only wish I didn't have my hood on so I could watch for
All right.
Watch.
So you're trying to reach, You basically feel Throck kind of spinning in a circle as he's like reaching over the side, trying to catch it, and spinning as he's going, moving around, bumping into each of you as he's trying to actually reach the lightsaber that is just out of his reach because of the cuffs. And he succeeds in grabbing the lightsaber. But then he drops it. Throck, you succeed in grabbing it, but with 2 threat, you accidentally drop it.
Are we all cuffed?
What's that?
Are we all handcuffed?
No, only Throck is.
Oh, wait. We could just take the bags off our heads this whole time?
Yes, you could just take the bags off your heads.
Probably. So, could somebody
So
hand
we could
me...
see it in a dark room.
I would like to take the bag off
Yep.
my head.
Think of it like you are inside a cargo container, the back of a semi that's closed right now.
Are we moving?
No. They're waiting for the Valkyrie. So right now, the actual cargo container is just sitting put while they wait for the Valkyrie. But the guards are sounding impatient.
Like, did we move? Like, were we put in here stationary, or were we put in here and then moved?
You were put in here and you're right now stationary.
Cool.
But you can move around this pitch black cargo container, and you heard something go ting, 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 and Throck is saying, what are you saying? Can you help me pick up what?
Somebody just hand me my lightsaber, please.
I can hand you your
Give
lightsaber.
that
So
a
right
kick.
away you hear the comment of lightsaber.
What was
And
that, sir?
this is the era when the Jedi are hunted. Lightsabers are restricted and highly illegal weapons. And if somebody has a lightsaber, they might be worth one heck of a bounty.
Maybe I didn't say anything about my lightsaber. Maybe I said, oh, I dropped the flashlight. I dropped the flashlight.
If I hand him his flashlight.
It was a flashlight, just don't look at it when you turn it on.
Yes, don't look at just hand it to me. How
I'm
about that?
giving you. May I untie him?
So does anyone want to search for this flashlight?
No.
Yes, I would
I've
like
been
to
asked
search
this on
for
Flash.
it.
Littlewood is searching for it.
I think that if I help him, he can help me find it.
All right. So Littlewood, you are searching in the pitch black darkness for the flashlight. Because there is the risk of you turning it on when you're fumbling around in the darkness, we're going to upgrade to a red challenge die.
Oh my god.
That's the...
Well, you didn't despair, but you did not find the lightsaber.
Ooh.
You did kick it, and it goes sliding across the floor and is at the feet of Rathka, the one who doesn't want to find it.
What?
Of course, maybe as someone who likes to have 5-finger discounts, it may just disappear.
Can you please give it to him?
Well, you don't know it's near her. She knows it just buttled against her foot.
So can I pick it up?
Yeah, you can just reach over and pick it up.
If I pick it up and feel it, do I know it's a lightsaber?
No. You feel an activating switch, some kind of a dial you can adjust. It's cylindrical.
It's a weapon?
You're not sure if it's a weapon. It doesn't feel like a weapon. It might, it could be any number of things. It could be like a tool. It could be a flashlight. It could be a weapon of some type. Heck, it could be a intimate toy.
Can I make her give it to me?
You can try using the Force to say, you will hand me the thing.
How does I have it?
He doesn't know you have it. That's a good point.
Can I sense where it is? Can I use my Jedi spider sense?
It's a power you don't have yet. Seek. And I let you use it once, so I'm not going to let you use it this time. You got to role play it out.
Alright. So, I heard something slide across the floor. And
It's a large container. Could be anywhere.
could be anywhere, but I'm wondering, could I persuade you in some way
You have to figure out I have it first.
To help me find it.
I say you help them find it.
I say if you untie me and take the bag off my head, I will help you find it.
I thought your hands are bound.
We're not bound, only he is.
Yeah, Tabitha, you're not bound. You just had a bag over your head which you can reach and pull off yourself.
Oh,
The only
okay.
person bound here is Throck.
Oh, I missed that.
Because I'm the most dangerous.
But he's unbound now.
Nope, he's still bound.
Because no one will help me.
Okay. So I take the bag off my head and I'm still looking at it, can't tell it's a lightsaber. Like I've never seen a lightsaber before.
Right.
It's in the duck, right?
But you can go ahead and just put it in the bag, you know.
Yeah,
Keep
no,
it-
I sit on it.
I'll
So-
bet you do.
All right, you put it in the bag and you sit on it. Like, don't know where it is.
Hey.
Oh, because he's Scottish.
Well, all right.
So what is it you're looking for?
I'm looking for a flashlight. It's cylindrical. It's metal. It would be very helpful right now. And if you could just uncuff me, then I could look for it, and I'll make it worth your while.
Does that mean you can find us and leave?
I could find you any
I
number of
say
things.
you untie the Jedi.
You untie him.
Untie me, please.
Yeah.
You're not
man.
tied up.
I would like to untie the Jedi.
Do it.
I trust him.
So, Throck,
Yes.
you do technically have the ability to reach out with the Force and try to activate it
Ooh, fun.
or pull it to you
She's sitting on
with
it.
your move ability.
Did I pull it to me, push it back, pull it to me, push it back?
If you want to make it wiggle a little and vibrate, that's all up to you.
That's a little risky.
If I turn it on right now, there runs the risk
Sounds
of like skewering her, right?
Possibly, you don't know. It depends on what direction the blade is pointing.
It seems, even though she's uncooperative, I dabbled a little too much in the dark earlier, and I'm definitely feeling its influence on my what have you. So I'm
that what they're
gonna
calling it now?
I'm gonna reach out and pull it toward me. I'm gonna pull it into my hand.
All right. So you reach out with the Force to try and pull the item towards you. Let's see here. I have to actually double check one thing. All right. And we're going to upgrade you because of the risk of her sitting on it, accidentally activating it.
That's what you get for sitting on my saber without that. Hashtag force 2. Don't force the force is what I'm saying.
And you tug on it with the Force, and it doesn't come to your hand. However, Rathka, you feel something. You feel something.
How do you feel about that?
It basically just lurched underneath of you in his direction, but apparently you sat really hard on it and kept it down underneath your booty.
She put it down already. So you felt it wiggle under
Welcome
you.
to this.
I've just given you pleasure with my mind.
Oh my goodness.
But I mean, if you sat on it, it wiggled under you. That's a good thing, isn't it?
I mean, I've had better.
Well, nobody knows that. She basically sat on it and kept it from moving. It just didn't come to you, so you just feel the Force is not with you.
That's it. The force isn't with the beating.
Must be the container.
It's that.
That's the container. But see, you guys don't know I'm a Jedi. Only I know I'm a Jedi.
You think he's a crazy old hermit.
Lazy old.
Oh,
So,
oh. And we're out of beer.
all right. So I tried the force. Can't pull it toward me that way. What are my other options there, Mr. Dean?
You can always coerce the people in the room, threatening them, but that may not go well as your first impression. You could always try to use the Force to talk to the guards and mind trick them to release you.
And is there any way that
That's worked so well for him.
can the little furry guy uncuff me, or should I?
Yes, either of them can attempt to uncuff you.
Littlewood, what's your name over there? Little furry fellow, what's your name? Is it
I'm Littlewood, and I would be delighted to uncuff you.
Oh, please uncuff me,
Oh,
Littlewood.
beer.
I will give you beer as soon as we're out of here.
You trust?
I will take you to a tavern and I will buy you beer. I've been here forever. Quite literally, forever.
Miss
Oh my
Bellana
God.
does not think I can trust you. How
He's
can
so
I trust
dramatic.
What do you think?
you? Well, you present like a wise man, but I'm not sure you can access me legally. And I'm not sure of your intentions. Shall I untie you?
Well, let me say this. I have.
Why is he tied up and we aren't tied up? Did you think about that? Like, why would he be tied up and we're not tied up? Is that
Does
maybe
he
for a
perhaps-
reason? For our own
Does he perhaps
safety,
possess
for
abilities
his
we do not?
I
safety?
struggle.
Why?
I struggle.
Hello,
Perhaps he's a
captives.
danger to himself
Captives.
or us, and that's why he's tied up. And we
Captives,
should not
of
danger
course.
them.
Anyone who can hear us from outside of this room, why have you
Has
not?
anyone tried knocking on the door?
Nope.
May I knock on the door?
All right.
I would like to knock on the door.
You ting 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 ting. The door opens.
Whoa!
Hey,
Whoa!
Yoda,
It's there was a draft on my fur too.
is it light outside? Can we see now?
Yes, there is light from outside. The only person who can't see is Throck, because he still has a bag over his head.
Could someone please take the bag off my head? If you're not going to uncuff me, would you please at least take the... Thank
The
you.
bag is off your head.
Thank you. Yes, that is valid.
So the door opens, and you actually see this very rough-looking Arcanian male with long hair and a scar on his face. I swear he must be related to Seth. As he kind of there and is looking at you intimidatingly. Is this what you brought me?
Are you talking to us?
He's talking to his goons. He's like, well then, greetings, my friends. I am Radham the Glove Tiv, at your service.
Could you say your name again? Somebody was chattering.
My name is Radham the Glove Tiv, at your service.
Oh, well done.
He's like, please, remove their hoods, take their cuffs off. I am terribly sorry that you were treated so poorly. My associates can sometimes get a little bit overzealous, if you will. Come. He's like, please. A droid comes walking up with a tray. Would you like some Clu-Clu-Clowfish?
Some what?
Clu-Clu-Clowfish. It's a rare delicacy. It actually is here, farmed from this very establishment, I understand. He takes this, like, sushi-looking thing. It's almost, like, wiggling a little bit, and he literally is eating it. And he's offering you one.
The silverfish are constantly pesticides.
Wouldn't this be something that you would know about? What do you... Well, I don't
Yes,
know
this is something that Littlewood frequently hunts.
Yes, but we have a different term for it. But yes.
He hates these things.
You hate...
Yes, you can eat them.
Do you eat them?
No,
Why do you hate them?
giant. They are
They're not keto?
not quite compatible with my... No, the opposite. They don't have quite enough gluten.
Oh.
He offers his hand to Rathka to help her out like she's a lady. Helping her out of the container.
Love?
I take the help. I play the game.
And it's like, well, my dear, while these two are bickering, perhaps you could actually tell me a little bit about yourselves. Tell me, introduce your friends.
They're not my friends.
Oh, yes, we are. We've been in captivity together for life.
I like his purple eyes. This guy won't shut up.
Eyes, though.
I see. He looks at his guards. So they don't know each other. Dakudatina. You just randomly grabbed these people? Watokadatina. He nods. He takes the blaster from one of the other guards and shoots one of them in the face. He drops dead. He hands the person the blaster back. And he looks at the three of you. Well then, My name is Random the Glove Tiv, like I said, and I actually am looking for some new associates to help me in my enterprise.
And what is this enterprise?
Well, you see, the hut here has been a little bit of a challenge lately and causing me a little bit of trouble. And I would like each and every one of you to work for this hut.
What's in it for me?
Well, my dear, working for me, I can guarantee you treasure, jewelry, jewels beyond your wildest imagination. He's reflecting the jewelry, the expensive jewelry that your character has on you.
Go on.
He's like, all I need from you is to infiltrate this hut's organization. Work your way up into the hut's court. And once you do so, I need you to be my eyes and my ears.
You only need her to be your eyes and your ears, or all three of us?
I would prefer all three of you, actually, in case one of you actually does fail to upset the hut and end up in the Rancor pit. I would most be assured to have an insurance policy by having a second individual.
Hello, Abram. I see you.
Yes.
Have you any beer?
You're offering her jewels, etc. What are you offering myself and the little fellow?
What are we being offered?
That's the question.
Beer?
Well, I would be happy to offer you some beer. In fact, little one, here, I've got a bottle of Corellia's Wyron's Reserve.
Sounds like a wood.
You see, I told you.
But I do like the beer.
There you are.
You do.
See, I told you I would get you beer the moment we got out. I did what I said I would do. You
This
can
one
all-
here.
Not more
Rock Mortoon has delivered the beer. Beer. We can now drink.
So he wants the beer. She wants the jewels. What are you offering me?
Your freedom.
Like that. I do want to be left alone. You know.
Well, let's just put it this way, Mr. Throck, as the little one called you. Your choice is to join my associate, pointing at the dead corpse on the floor, or work for me. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, you do.
Good. Now that we all understand where we belong in this operation, I would be excited to hear your first report.
You want us to go there and report back right now, is what you're saying.
Oh, yes. And I don't ask twice.
Well, I have no problem with it, but she said she works alone, and you want us all to work together. So does that mean you're going to kill her if she doesn't work with us?
Oh, no. She has other fates that could happen.
Really? Like what?
Can't we all just get along? We have beer.
Agreed! We should make this a party. Come, enjoy your drinks, enjoy your Cluku Clowfish, talk amongst yourselves how you wish to work together, and I will actually wait for your report. Good day. And he basically leaves you with the tray of food, the drinks, and the dead body.
That's
The dead body?
I
Oh,
immediately
the man
search
was
the dead body for any valuables, any jewelry, and anything that I might want.
A bit distasteful but practical, I should say.
So she starts searching the corpse, and she goes ahead and locates a... So searching the corpse, you actually do find a cred chip with 500 credits on it.
Yeah, baby.
And she starts pocketing it. The guy also had a wallet with some photos of his Rhodian children.
Okay.
And, yeah, I guess the guy's name was Rochstuda.
I leave the photos in case the family wants them, because I'm not a fucking asshole.
All right. And Yeah, so basically, right about this time, you guys are just there with drinks and food, and you see another Arcanian with a scar across their face, this time a female, and a small bear come walking up.
Small bear.
Now,
Great.
you're the second scattered Arcadian I've seen today. But what is with Teddy Ruxpin over here?
What you're calling Teddy Ruxpin? Listen, I'm gonna do intimidating sort of look to this guy, but
well,
I'm nudging Seth at the same time.
Look at the wee cute
What?
little bear.
I think he's winking at you.
Oh.
If you don't tell them who's boss right now, one of them three might try to be the boss. I think you should.
Try.
Who are you and what are you doing here and now is the question. Do you know the glove?
No.
All right.
Crystal, you know the glove.
I do,
Who are
but
you?
I'm just gonna be quiet about it.
All right.
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna ask Seth to ask them because do they understand me?
If the glove does
Yes.
Oh, they can understand Ewok. Okay.
I can
So then I'm gonna ask them, the three of them who look kind of like, well, they've been having time in a container. What about him?
I look like that all the time.
What about him? What about the glove?
He just left here. I'm amazed you didn't see him. You didn't pass each other on the way.
There's so many things going on, sir.
So,
Uh,
would you
what-
like some clue?
Clue, clue, clowfish.
I just grab the fish, I pop it in my pie hole, and I go, what does he want? What's the glove want? What does he do?
He wants us to have a party and talk about that plan.
A plan?
He wants us to work for him. Do you know this fellow? You seem to have a reaction to him.
I have a reaction to lots of things.
I can. Yeah.
Sometimes it results in hives and allergies.
Or blood eating.
Your
Little
tongue
tube.
swells
I keep
up,
the
you eat
tube
it
with
out,
me.
you feel better.
I'm just shoving the things in my mouth, the clue. Yeah, the clowfish into my pie hole, and I'm trying to extract information. Like what does he want with you three?
Perhaps introductions are in order.
Yeah, I was waiting for the bear to stop talking so we could get to that point.
Why don't you start?
Seth.
Amazing.
What are you? What are you
Who are
doing
you,
here?
Chef?
What's
I'm
going on?
not. A mercenary.
But who are
Well,
you?
why are you here now?
I'm on a job.
What's the job?
I'll get to that later if I feel like
Watch
it.
how you talk to Seth. Seth is important.
Anytime a tiny bear
Is
is
this
saying you're
talking
important,
to
you're
me?
not important.
Yes. It talks to
I'm-
lots of things. It hasn't even given me its name yet. It just talks a lot, and I haven't gotten a full introduction yet.
I'm housebroken, so
It's supposed to
That's
help
what you
me get my job done and steal a bunch of cool shit for me, which I don't really do that, but it's cool.
everybody needs stuff. We all want stuff, right?
All right, you've introduced yourself.
Well, assuming the Phoenix did not, I'm not sure. My name is Littlewood. I am little, but my head is big.
Yeah.
You're
Got
furry.
I'm very furry. I consume a lot of beauty.
Right.
And I'm in pest control.
He controls pests.
I control pests.
Okay.
I also like to eat them. I like to eat people.
But you don't like to eat these little fish things here.
Cause that could be a
No,
problem.
but
People? You eat people?
people have a lot of beauty.
Do you eat their hearts?
Yes, I eat the whole.
What the fuck are we talking about?
All of the people.
Do you just eat it warm, or is it cook it? Like, what's your thing? Like, I'm just really interested. Sorry, just really interested.
I eat all people.
Oh,
Well, you guys spend the next few hours sitting around a cargo container and a dead corpse while enjoying Clue Clue Clowfish and Wyron's Reserve booze until all the food is gone, all of the liquor is gone, and the corpse is now missing a heart.
So
Make that noise.
Is he eating the person?
What's that?
He eats people, so is he eating the person?
No, the Ewok ate the heart.
I ate the heart. But did anyone see me do it, or is it still my little secret?
No, it's just your little secret.
Okay.
I'm
And
gonna-
I'm immediately feeling like this person could have been smart, but now I feel like all warm inside. Like I got a little smarter.
But you guys have managed to all meet up, find out that you have 2 missions. One mission is to infiltrate the huts and report back to Random the Glove Tiv. Some of you want to join the hut just for your own abilities, and you also have this Throckmorton that you're supposed to deliver to someone known as the Baron. And that's where we're going to pause it for the rest of the evening, now that you guys have all got together. And that way we can start actually getting into more of a constructive story arc versus just this everyone meeting each other. You know what I mean?
So we now, Seth and I recognize Throck.
Yeah, I was
Who
gonna
he
say,
is.
did he say what his name was?
No, I did not.
He does
Well, we've
not.
been talking for a long time. There was like this like long quietness.
You were
that-
told to look for someone named Throck, but he has not mentioned his name.
Okay.
And you don't know what I look like.
And you don't know what he looks like.
Ooh, alright.
Dun 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 dun.
So yeah, so that's where we're going to end it for now. I know it was kind of a chaotic scenario because it was the fitting all the pieces together. Because I don't like the whole you meet in a bar. I always like having people organically come together. And
Being held captive with this bunch was a good time for me.
yeah, I know. I mean, it was a good time. You had drinks, beers, held captive. You got touched by a Twi'lek. Because she was patting him on the head.
You're a very friendly fellow for someone who eats people.
Did you guys have at least fun getting things at least started?
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
the most fun. I love this.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
next time, before we actually get together or start recording, we should do a thing where we make sure everyone gets on Roll20 and understands how the actual roller works. I think it'll make it a little bit easier for all of us actually running together. Okay. Do you guys have any questions for me as a game master?
No, you have been fantastic.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
job.
you
Thank
did great.
I'm having
Thank
a
you.
ton of fun. Love this.
Cool.
It was great how Lauren brought up. She's like, this was planned perfectly because we're on this side and you guys
Yep.
were on that side.
That was great.
So we were
That
able to
worked out very
banter
well.
next to each other. I don't know if
Yeah.
the people out there know, but our background is the same, and
Yep.
the background has, so they're all tied together.
Nice.
What happens next?
Well, I'm going to stop the live stream, but we can still go ahead and talk for a brief bit. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoyed our chaotic role-playing, and I promise we're going to get a lot funner.
Well, we're pretty
Yeah, that's
fun.
possible.
We're gonna get more fun. Funnest.